at it again, and we've got an interesting one here, okay? Just off the title alone, goodness gracious. Wow. But before we hop into it, make sure you guys hit that like button, and if you're not subscribed to the channel already, hit that subscribe button down below and join the family. And make sure you guys are following me on social media. Those links are down below in the description box. Instagram, Twitter, Truth Social, Discord server, all of that good stuff is down below. And with that being said, let's dive in.
Sale. This week in a Manhattan mall, I held a bake sale. A racist bake sale.
We have different prices here. If you're Asian, $1.50. If you're white, $1. If you're Latino or black, 50 cents.
50
That's
cents.
not right.
You got to be on your goddamn mind.
He
Boy,
just
close down.
Is the cupcake poison?
I didn't come up with this.
He said it's a cupcake poison. I'm honestly a little surprised. I was expecting a bunch of woke folks to come up and applaud him or something, you know, like, hey, great job. You know, we need more stuff like this in our society because, you know, black and brown people have been systematically oppressed their entire lives and throughout history. You know, go through the whole spiel. That's what I was expecting to see, but okay. All right. Good to see.
Idea. I'd copied what some students had done. They call it an...
Hold on, what do you say?
I didn't come up with this idea. I'd copied what some students had done. They call it an affirmative action bake sale.
Why does that have to be shut down?
Here at Bucknell University, the administrators shut the bake sale down. The Students' Conservative Club said they just wanted to start a conversation about affirmative action, which does make it harder for Asians to get admitted, but easier for blacks and Latinos. But before much conversation started, they were shut down. So I ran the bake sale so we could see what kind of discussion the Buck...
I wonder what the university's excuse was to shut them down. I mean, obviously they were conservative, so I'm sure that was one big reason, but what did they say? What do y'all think? Or if you guys know the whole story, let me know in the comment section.
Bucknell students missed.
I'm trying to make amends for racism and punish the Asians because they have an advantage. They have such high SAT scores.
No, that's not true. Because I had an Asian student in my class that was dumb as a cardboard.
That's stereotyping.
It is stereotyping.
That's not right.
Affirmative action is supposed to help minorities that have been discriminated against. But Latinos and blacks who saw my sign didn't like it.
That makes me feel bad because I'm both Latino and black.
Should I not do this because it might hurt people's feelings?
Not only it should hurt people's feelings, but it's just like out of sense of respect.
It's very hurtful, it's very demeaning.
And America has been a bastion of free speech. Oh, except for a few places like the liberal media, especially ABC News, where I used to work. No, actually, they were pretty good. They pretty much let me say most things. The real bastion of political correctness and rules against certain kinds of speech has become the American university. I think a university would be a safe haven for free speech. It's supposed to be. A justification for giving teachers tenure was to make sure they could freely express even unpopular ideas. But today, some universities try to ban unpopular ideas. Helping to fight that is a group called FIRE, the Foundation for Individual Rights in Education. They defend students whose speech is shut down by universities. The director of FIRE in Education, they defend students whose speech is called FIRE, the Foundation for Individual Rights in Education. They defend students whose speech is shut down by universities. The director of FIRE is Greg Lukianoff. He joins us now with two students.
I was gonna say, maybe I need to look this group up because I have yet to see them in some of these videos, you know. But I guess we're gonna learn more here.
Two schools told them, shut up. Kirby Thomas ran that affirmative action bake sale at Bucknell that we showed you being shut down earlier. Hayden Barnes criticized his school for building a parking garage. He said it was environmentally unfriendly. The administrators didn't like that, so they drove him out of school. Hayden, what do you mean they drove you out of school?
I was dismissed for disagreeing with the university president about the necessity of a parking deck.
I mean, that's all you did? You said, I disagree?
Well, I made alternatives known in a letter to the student newspaper, to the student government, and the faculty senate. I also posted a satirical cartoon on my Facebook page.
And for this, they called you a clear and present danger.
Yes, they did.
It's totally true.
Greg Luciano?
Hayden's case, I mean, before working at FIRE, I had no idea. You can get in trouble for the most incredible nonsense on college campuses. And I feel like our society is largely in denial about this. Hayden Barnes got kicked out of college for a collage he placed on Facebook criticizing a parking garage. I can't repeat that enough. And if you're already got that far gone, something seriously wrong has happened in the places that are supposed to encourage free speech, like really brave free speech.
And you brought a court case. Eventually, it takes forever, but then you had to graduate from another school.
I had to transfer, and I'm currently in law school, but it has been quite a struggle.
And a bad outcome if that's what put you in law school.
Some would say that.
Herbie, why did you want to run an affirmative action bake sale?
Our group thinks affirmative action is...
I want to know what the parody cartoon was that he posted. Like, it was that bad? I have a feeling that it wasn't, but I mean, I guess there's a possibility because he wasn't really specific on what was exactly in it. But I have a very strong feeling that it was just making them look really bad, look really foolish, and they didn't like it. So that's why they got rid of him. But hey, what do y'all think? Let me know.
It's a really relevant topic, important to talk about, and we just wanted to get a discussion going on our campus.
But you oppose race-based affirmative action.
Absolutely.
And it is pretty provocative.
It is. It's hard to get people talking on a college campus, and when you do something controversial, and opposing affirmative action is kind of controversial anyway on a college campus, but...
Kind of?
I guess that's an understatement. But in that context, it really got people talking.
But the talk was stopped because within an hour you were shut down.
Yeah, the students who came wanted to talk about it. We had a great discussion going, even agreed on some points about like maybe socioeconomic affirmative action for underprivileged students economically. But the university came and they didn't want any of that going on.
Well, I ran my bake sale so I could hear some of the comments that I assume you would have heard had you been allowed to run yours, and the comments were interesting. At first, people called me racist.
What is funny to you about people who are less privileged?
But then some people defended me.
You're trying to make a point, right?
Right.
So sometimes you got to do things like that to make a point. It's not racist.
And people started to think about what affirmative action means.
No race of people is worth more than another, or less.
Well, do you believe in affirmative action in colleges?
I used to, but I really don't think that it helps.
By the end, most people said equality means no affirmative action.
Everybody should be treated equally. No matter what race you come from, everybody should get equal the same.
Bang. And that came from a kid. No matter what race you come from, we should all be treated the same. No preferential treatment, no special treatment. It should be that simple. It should literally be that simple. And I would argue that affirmative action is actually detrimental. Because you're not challenging folks to really push to above and beyond, or you're saying because you are black, you are stupid and you're not capable of achieving what they are capable of achieving. So since we know that you're stupid, we'll just allow you in. It's one of the two. It might actually be both, a little bit of both. You know, on one hand, we're going to tell you not to try as hard because we want to keep you, permanently down as a group. What do y'all think? And then on the other hand, hey, we know you guys are stupid, so you'll never be able to compete with them. So here you go on in. Once again, Democrats proving to be racist. It's a recurring theme.
So I found that interesting. People went from belligerence to a real conversation, and I guess that's your point.
On every major issue that America faces today, I've seen students get in trouble for being on the wrong side of that argument. And you can't have a meaningful dialogue if people have to fear punishment for having an opposite opinion.
And these bake sales have been shut down not just at your school, but at UCLA, William and Mary, UC Irvine. Most schools these days do allow them. They've
Yes.
wised up.
Yeah, this started back in 2003, and the first 6 that that were held, universities found all these different excuses for shutting them down, basically coming down to the fact they didn't like the message. And there's been at least 3 dozen of these protests, and I think actually many, many more over the years. But Bucknell is just standing firm. That kind of like
Bucknell just last night sent me an email. State and federal laws prohibit discrimination.
Yeah.
The university believes in upholding the law. There's no just kidding clause in the laws. So price discrimination is discrimination.
Yeah, I love this argument that Bucknell's standing by, because it's clearly a symbolic protest. There's nobody denies that. And
yeah, see, I kind of figured they would come up with some BS kind of thing, like, hey, where you're not allowed to sell food on campus because it's a health risk or something crazy. But really? Discrimination when it's obviously not for real. It's not serious. It's meant to spark a conversation. Goodness gracious. Oh man, these leftists and Democrats, man, they're so predictable. They're so predictable, and I'm still new to all of this, and I can, oh man, this is sad.
There are these things called gender gap bake sales across the country, where women get charged less than men to protest the gap in pay between men and women.
So a feminist group complaining about the so-called pay gap does the same thing.
And they never get shut down.
Is it just conservatives who get shut up?
You know, definitely you are much more likely to get in trouble if you have a socially conservative point of view on campus. But in my experience, and Fire has come to the defense of people all over the political spectrum. We've certainly had cases where we've had to come to the defense of PETA at a school in Florida, where an administrator just said, I liked her honesty, that she actually came out and said, you can't table for PETA because I don't like that group.
But I would think most of the time they would say, we want to have a civilized discussion. We want our campus to be a kind place.
Right.
If students feel oppressed, they won't learn. And that sounds reasonable.
It sounds very nice, but freedom of speech and academic freedom and meaningful discussion is a deadly serious business. And if you limit it only to what people are comfortable with, then you end up shutting any meaningful discourse up.
Facts. You can't limit it. You can't limit freedom of speech to just what people are comfortable with. You basically can't even have a conversation at all, because somebody's going to be offended about something. You know, like that just, goodness gracious. But unfortunately, that is kind of where we are at this point in time. We're like teetering on the edge of just falling into the pit of no return. Literally teetering on the edge. Goodness gracious. And man, the fact that, you know, the Republican Party is still infighting going on. You know, you got the establishment versus everybody else, and the finger pointing. You know, Herschel Walker just lost to Raphael Warnock, which is just crazy because it was a runoff, and typically Republicans win runoffs and yet lost, which I have my suspicions as to why that happened. And it wasn't necessarily, I mean, Herschel Walker wasn't a great candidate to begin with, but neither is Raphael Warnock. You know, it shouldn't take someone that is fantastic to win, although I do agree that someone better should have been picked instead of Herschel Walker. With that being said, I still don't think just pointing the finger at Uncle Trump was the right call, but we can get into that discussion another day. It's just the whole infighting thing that's going on, and you have stuff like this that is happening, like we just watched, on a more regular basis, while Republicans are just like going at each other, and this whole thing is falling apart right outside of it. And I'm just like, I mean, I'm new to this, and I'm like pointing, hey, look, there's a fire going on. There's an entire city block burning down, and you guys are like over here arguing about some bullshit, you know. And there's look, Mitch, look, Kevin, look, all of these establishment guys. Look, there is a fire going on, and you're over here arguing with Uncle Trump, you know, about some other stuff, and it's just like, man, goodness gracious. I still, you know, like I said, I still don't think it's completely over. right? I still do think there is a chance to return to normalcy. But that chance, I think, begins and ends in 24. If we don't manage to pull that off, I think the America as we know it will be effectively over. I mean, it's pretty close now. It's about as close as you can get. But if we don't get a Republican in office, either DeSantis or Trump, I prefer Trump because he's going to be a bull in the China shop. And I've already went down, some of those reasons why. But if we don't manage to get Trump back in, I think it will all effectively be over. Because you see a lot of these leftists have no idea what they're walking themselves into. They have no clue. No idea. And it's just like, I don't know. It's sad. It's sad and scary to watch. But anyway, y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.